Hello, in the next episode, today I'm going to solder this little chip to this console. This is Nintendo Switch OLED, and my customer asked me to solder this chip here in order to make a NAND memory backup. So let's do this! Alright, so this is our Nintendo Switch OLED. Let's check if everything works fine. Yeah. Let's check if it's reading the games. Alright, so it's reading the games. First one, I'm going to see what version of system we've got, and this is the 12.0.2. I'm not going to update the system because we want to make a full backup of these versions of the system. So, you know, if they ask me to update the system will be updated to the latest edition. And the latest is 14.1.2, probably. At the moment, I'm, making a video. I'm turning this off right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to disassemble this console first. The console is off right now. Alright, so the console is already prepared, the motherboard is already prepared. I've removed the shield from the NAND memory, and I remove also the shield from the APU. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to install the adapter for the NAND memory. So I'm going to solder it permanently. Alright, so this is our chip. This chip is version 3, and we've got that NAND memory adapter. So what I'm going to do, I'm going just to apply a little bit solder here on this point, because I'm going to solder it permanently here I show you the way how to do this. Alright, so let's do it. Let's put this on the side. Let's go under the microscope and carry on. Alright, so this is our adapter. I'm going just to apply a little bit of flux here and solder. So now we need to slide in this adapter to these marks, yeah? Alright, so how to check if this point is connected to that 0 point? You just need to set up your multimeter into the diode mode. The reading should be between 0.5 up to 0.9. So it's already connected. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use my holder. Alright, so the motherboard is secured in my holder. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to apply some flux. Here. And now, hot air, 360, 60 airflow. Alright, so let's check this now. It should be permanently connected with that point, yeah? What I'm going to do is now, I'm going to test it again. The chip is a little bit warm, that's why the reading is a little bit low, but it's alright. It's between 0.5, 0.9, like I said. So this job is done permanently. Let's apply some flux here and here. Alright, so in the previous video I've done few months ago, many people, many people left the comment below, and they were worrying about this wire, because they thought it's just a copper wire. So if you touch this to any of the component, you can make a short or something like that. So this wire is a special wire. It's coated. If you touch the multimeter here and here, it won't beep in the continuity mode, because it's got a coat on it. It's just like a transparent, paint or something like that. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm going just to show you. So let's set up the multimeter for the beep mode. I'm going to show you, yeah. And look, you see, it doesn't beep. It doesn't beep because this wire is coated, yeah, by transparent paint or something, you know, or maybe PCV or something else. So that's why I was using this wire in my previous repair, yeah. So this wire is coated, but in today's video I'm going to use this kind of wire. It's not because it was, you know, the bad solution. It's just because I need to test this wire on the OLED switch, just for myself. Alright, let's go under the microscope again. What I've done, I've cut a little bit, you know, this edge of this metal shield, just so it will help me to close it without damaging the wire. Hopefully, yeah, you see. Alright, so the NAND memory point DAT0 is soldered nicely, and so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut off this metal frame here to get access to another point. Just need to do this very, very gentle, because you can damage the APU. Alright, so we already have the access for this point. Alright, so let's find this point and solder the wire to him. You know, this cable, what I showed you, is more flexible, it's more it's much better for me, you know. I don't like, you know, this stuff, so I'm not going to use that, you know, red wire anymore. I thought it gonna be a good idea to use it, but you know, it's not. It's much more difficult. This one is more flexible. It's less tension. Now I'm going to apply the solder mask to secure this area. Okay, so next point is here, this resistor. So I'm going to solder the same wire here, and after I'm going to solder that ribbon tape to the APU. So let's solder the wire to this resistor. Okay, so next step is to solder this ribbon tape to the caps on the APU. Alright, so now what do we need to do? We need to solder the wire here, those caps, as we've got here 3.3 volts. So let's solder it. Alright, so another step is to solder the wire here in this point. Okay, so what we need to do now, I'm just going to put, you know, the APU shield here. Alright, so next step is we need to mark the area where we need to cut off a little bit of shield. I'm just going to show you. Alright, so we can just press a little bit. So next step, so we need to connect this tape, this ribbon tape, to the chip. Alright, so now I'm going to use double tape to stick this chip to the metal shield. And I'm going, we need to find point D. Point D is here. So we just need to solder this wire to the point D. Okay, so the point D is already soldered to the chip. So now we need to find point A. Point 8, it's this one from this little resistor. Alright, so the point A is already soldered. So now we need to solder point C. Alright, so let's solder the point C. So this red wire is our point C. Alright, so the point C is already soldered. Okay, so now we need to solder 3.3 volts. So this wire. We need to solder the ground. Alright, and the last step is to solder this wire to the point B. Alright, so let's set up the multimeter for the beep mode. And we need to check if some of these points are not grounded by accident, yeah? So you never know. Alright, so this is the point D, A, C, 3.3, and this is the ground. And only beeped on the ground. And now 1.8 layer. And it's good. Alright, so let's go into diode mode. Let's check the 1.2. You've got 0.65, 0.65, 0.65, 0.72, and ground. Alright, should be alright right now. So now we need to assemble it back and test it. Alright, so I'm going to plug the battery right now. And this is the moment of truth. So nothing on the screen so far. But we've got LED light flashing here. Alright, so we need to create SD card. Alright, from this point I can say that it's working. It's working. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new SD card, inject Hecate, and I'm going to, do a backup, full backup of the NAND memory, and that's it. The job is done. So let's assemble it quickly back, create the SD card, and test it. Alright, so we've got the SD card in. So let's do a backup. Let's go tools, backup EMC bot. Good. Alright, so the job has been done successfully. I've done the backup, as you could see. I'm sending the Switch to my customer tomorrow. You know, it's not my business what he's going to do with this console. He just asked me and paid me to do the backup, so I've done this. You know, he said that his previous Nintendo Switch had a problem with the firmware, actually, or NAND memory, I can't really remember, but he wanted to avoid this problem in the future, so he sent me his console and the chip, and I've done the job. Thank you for watching, please like and subscribe, and see you next time!